are good things in this bill, some would argue. I mean, a lot of money earmarked for R&D. Would you want to put that towards something?
No.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on from the bill because I think we get what you're saying on it.
In general, we should just, if we don't cut government spending, something really bad's going to happen. This is crazy.
I mean, the craziest thing about it, Congressman, is that Elon Musk, Larry Summers, Stephen Ratner, a former Obama administration economic advisor, everyone says the same thing. It is crazy to continue to pump this much money into the economy. But again, on this as well, they persist. Why?
Again, I don't think the Democrats have a clue what to do about the economy. The Republicans know the best thing we can do for the economy is get out of the way. And that's exactly what Elon Musk said. He's creating jobs. He's an innovator. He's as smart a business person as there is in America. He doesn't need the government to create some type of grant program for him to apply to do research and development. He just needs the government to get out of his way. And that's the thinking of just about every major employer in America. Just get out of the way. Stop spending money. Stop passing regulations. Let us do what we do best, and that's create jobs and innovate and be a major player in the world economy. But the Democrats in Congress want to continue to make government the solution to all the problems and have government dole out and reappropriate tax dollars and pick winners and losers. And Elon Musk is exactly right. We don't need it. We don't need any of it.
It was interesting to see, too, the crowd kind of laugh when he said no. Like, oh, how Elon Musk must be kidding. How could he say these types of things? But, you know, if you take a step back and actually listen to guys like him who've done it before, they've built businesses, they understand the implications here, he gets it. He obviously gets it, even though he would probably benefit from some of the stuff in this bill. I also want to talk about a report that the Biden administration released this week that described the art and antiquities markets as, quote, especially vulnerable to a range of financial crimes. The market is optimal for illicit value transfer, sanctions evasion, and corruption. Now, I'm sure Hunter Biden's art sales are all different, right? But how do we ever know?
No, that's the first thing that's come out of the White House that I actually agree with. They're exactly right. In the House, Republicans were the first to uncover this on the Oversight Committee. China's been using the art world to funnel money into the United States for a long time through illicit drug deals, the illicit counterfeiting schemes. And what the White House said is exactly right. And when you think about that, the first person that comes to every American's mind is Hunter Biden. Well, what about his artwork? What about all the artwork he sold to China? I mean, is he complicit in this? I mean, he is the biggest problem the White House has with respect to China and the art world. I mean, it's a joke. Everybody knows Hunter Biden's not an artist. You don't just start painting pictures and 3 weeks later start selling pieces of artwork for $500,000. I mean, it's a joke. China is involved in this. The White House should disclose who's purchasing this overpriced artwork from Hunter Biden, but yet they come out with statements like this, like we didn't even think about Hunter Biden being involved in this. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then again, I'm not making this direct connection here, but the objective here is transparency. And when you get just dismissive reactions from Jen Psaki in the White House every time Hunter Biden's a private citizen, we never really got to get a good look into his business dealings with Burisma. That's obviously a Ukrainian company here, and Ukraine and the situation is an issue today. Again, but we don't get any answers from this White House. I know it's frustrating, and I know that would change, Congressman, if you became the chairman of the House Oversight Committee come 2022. Am I right?
You are exactly right. Hunter Biden's going to be at the top of the agenda because he's a national security threat. This has nothing to do with politics. This has to do with national security. This has to do with transparency. This has to do with ethics. And Hunter Biden is a suspect in all three of those categories. I mean, he continues to do business, whatever business that is. He continues to do business with foreign nationals, and then they just happen to be the foreign nationals where all the problems are, with China, with Ukraine, with Russia, in the Congo right now, with the mineral market. We don't want China to take that over, and we learned a few weeks ago Hunter Biden had a hand in that, in helping China take over an American cobalt company in the Congo. So the more we learn about Hunter Biden, the more problems are. The Republicans on the House Oversight, when we're in the majority, we will prove more wrongdoing by Hunter Biden than Adam Schiff ever dreamed of coming up with on the Trump children.
Now, I want to go back to what we were talking about at the very beginning of the program. You know, this phone call coming up with Joe Biden and Volodymyr Zelensky. This Associated Press report says that the Biden administration is going to take a more direct role in diplomacy. And what that means, according to this report, is that administration officials have suggested that the U.S. will press Ukraine to formally cede a measure of autonomy to eastern Ukrainian lands now controlled by Russian-backed separatists. It sounds like they're saying, go ahead, Vladimir Putin, you take this little chunk of Ukraine. We're not going to do anything about it.
I knew when the debacle in Afghanistan happened that we would have trouble with Russia and Ukraine. And it looks like now, instead of trying to somehow exhibit strength on the world stage, Biden's solutions to the problem continue to exemplify the weakness that he portrays on the world stage. And allowing Ukraine to give up territory is probably not a good starting point for the United States in this, what's going to be a big problem on the world stage. And it's probably going to lead to problems with China and Taiwan. So it's unfortunate that Joe Biden and Blinken are the two main negotiators in this diplomatic crisis right now. But I think we're just going to have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best here.
We will do that. Congressman Comer, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.